When you describe one man in many words, it's very difficult. When you use many words to describe one man, I repeat, it is very difficult. But when one man uses many words to describe an event, it could be seen as difficult, but it isn't, because he makes sense. We just find it difficult to digest it. I don't know if the digestion process is good right now with Mr. Steve Komphela. He joins us on MarawaTV to talk about life, talk about anything. Good to see you, sir.
May I have a bit of water, because I almost got some dizzy spells after.
Let's have some water.
Yeah, no.
Let's have some water.
Cheers.
Cheers, sir.
But maintain the distance.
Please.
I think we must do a remote control. Cheers. Cheers.
Sure, a remote?
Thank you.
Okay, and then we do
We go
a
that
football
way
one?
and
Okay.
that way, yes.
We kept it clean. President Cyril Ramaphosa asked us for social distancing. Hence the distance. What formation are we sitting in?
We are in it's a one-on-one, but a one-on-one that's not as aggressive in sports where there's contact. A one-on-one that's also not as intimate, but a measured one-on-one, but valued and appreciated by myself, because not too many of us would have a one-on-one of this nature up against giants like yourself. And the only way that maybe we could rise is maybe by associating with giants, and where possible, when one-on-one is actually intimate and aggressive, we can literally stand on the shoulders of the giants.
And just for clarity to everybody that's watching, there's only one giant in this room. His name is Steve Komphela. That's why he's our guest, because of the gigantic strides that he has taken in his life to mold other giants. You don't play in 22 uninterrupted games, the first 22 games, uninterrupted, in the Bafana setup, when we are readmitted back into the international fold. If you're not a giant, you don't go on to captain the national team if you're not a giant. You don't go to Turkey to play and play at the highest level. But not only that, your linguistic nature is such that they give you an entire show to host in Turkey and be presented in Turkish. That's a giant. And I haven't even gone through a fraction of the achievements. What do you miss about your journey that has been up until now?
The only thing I could say one would miss about their journey is how I wish I had this maturity in my journey as I was coming along. The best time when you know that you could have been the better of who you are is when you say, only if I knew what I know. What I know now, if I had had it before, and as I came along on my path of life, career, profession, whatever it had been, with also the challenges that I had gone through, if I had the amount of, a bit of wisdom that I have, I could have been something better than what I think I am.
There's no way, Steve. There's no way. You've possessed this wisdom for the longest time. Maybe you stopped being shy. I don't know.
Yes, but I think.
What was it?
I think for far too long I had moments and times with you at a professional level,
yes,
and also personal and private spaces. Maybe that's why you have the privilege of saying I had this. Maybe to agree with you that maybe it had been kept, it had been bottled. I had not developed an esteem that says to me, come out, Steve, and say it. There are moments where, for all of the kids, even a kid somewhere in Nyanga or Mhlatuza, wherever, they have this amount of light, but the light is overshadowed by maybe the environment they find themselves in. At some stage, something has to burst. But how you break into a real you, where your esteem is completely of self, is when you've consumed the fear and the complex that you find yourself in when you bring up. How we socialize, how I grew up from very humble environment, very poor kid. I wouldn't have a statement or a word to make. As a result, I had no confidence. My self-esteem was very low. Now, when you say maybe I had this with me all along, it's only now that I'm saying it. Maybe I've reached a stage and a level of anger where I'm saying, you know what, whatever it takes, let it come out. I can't die with it.
Wow.
Now, if I had been given the level of confidence at a young age to be this that I am now, I'm sure I could have even gone through better struggles, which would have then made a better man and given me a better understanding of how to come across and rise above challenges. It is only through challenges, Rob, that I grew. Now, maybe the strength that I would have had based on the wisdom that I have now would have been at level 6 and my challenges would have been level 12. Then I would have upgraded to level 24. But I'm now at 12 because I had level 6 capacity and level 12 challenges, and then I had to rise and be to the level of my challenges. Maybe the upgrade would have been even better. That you picked that, I remember, and I'm not going to hijack your interview.
No, it's your conversation.
In Turkey, I was the boss.
Yes.
I would sit there and roast guys here, ask them questions. This time, I'm here to be roasted. I remember in 1992, I scored one hell of a beautiful goal, Wade Duplessis. I was still with Fairway Stars then. We played at Rand Stadium. It was a corner kick. The ball was played from the corner and then got cleared to the halfway line. I controlled the ball one touch and took a shot. Unbelievable goal. And then I won the goal of the year. And then I was asked, I don't know whether it was Mark Gleason or Cy Lemon, one of these journalists then. And I still remember vividly what I said to them. And that statement sounded, now I realize what philosophy is. Then I did not, but I had it. There's something very strange about having something and you don't know what it is, yet it is valuable. Now, I then said, if there's anyone who thinks I do not deserve to get the trophy, then must come and get it at home. That was cocky. I mean, a humble guy from Kwakwa without anything saying that, listen, you're making a statement that's bold.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward, when I look at it, Steve, could you have said that? I've said many of those currently, but how they are packaged, they are extremely glittery. When I say something and it is well packaged, you must know if you can unwrap that, break that, the beautiful wrap in a present.
The answer is inside.
You know, Christmas time, we wrap these presents so nicely. But the slaughter we make to that wrapping paper, when we open the present, it's more like we do not even care about the ones who took time in wrapping the present.
Ribbons and all.
Yeah, the ribbons, they took time and they were more like the way they tied them, tidiness, the colors. People took time and they were very delicate. Marwena, when you open it, you rip it apart. Now, if you can rip apart the package that I always deliver, inside there's something. But why then am I so careful in the delivery of the stuff, the precious commodity inside? Is for the respect of anyone who's likely to receive the delivery. Because how often other people take delivery of stuff they're not familiar with, and it doesn't look good, but inside is beautiful, they let go. So I want anyone who takes delivery of the stuff, it must look inviting, so that at no stage it must go past your doorstep. Be curious, want to know, but why, what is this? Through curiosity, we start to learn. And that's how I've embraced my life.
Do you think that you were, in a way, afraid of offending people, as daring as that comment was at the time, but post that?
Yeah. Then I think there's two things in life. You either brave or stupid.
Right.
Anytime you take a decision that is unbelievably, in a way that people say, but wait a minute, how could you? Either you were stupid not to know how serious that would have been, or if you're not stupid, then you were very brave.
Right.
If you don't know, then it means you're naive, you're stupid, you don't know, and it's going to hurt you. But if you know, it means you're brave enough to say, you know what, by all means possible, I would go through it. So I don't know the stage and the state it was at, but I would accept the fact that then I was still loaded. And any loaded ammunition, to an extent, needs to be utilized or released. I was loaded because I felt then there was this principle that no, if ubuyemakaya kubuqwaqwa and whatever, you are not as good as the rest of the ones who came from environments that were more like popular. And I felt I would have to make a statement on behalf of those guys who are more like obscured. And when I look at it now, I don't know how many years back, 30, it's still relevant. Could I go back and say that again? Yes, even with more clarity. Do I regret what I said? No, I do not. Because the minute you say something, my philosophy is one. I use two brains. I use two brains. The thinking brain and the brain that's monitoring the thinking brain.
Sure.
Now, when I think, as I'm talking to you now, I'm saying this, but at the back of my utterances, there's another guy monitoring what I say so that your thought processes must be clear, Steve. And after saying your thought processes must be clear, Steve, what then is the next line to guide the conversation so that the substance? And whilst I'm thinking around what I'm saying, there has to be something that says to me, wait a minute, Steve, as you're saying this, are you not offending Robert? You are not offending Robert. But okay, Robert is excited, but what about the other person who's not a Robert? Very difficult to make utterances that are clear and not hurting anyone. There's no way. When you say something is blue, red might not be happy. Purple wouldn't be either. White would be frustrated. How dare you say blue and all the rest of the other colors are still comfortable and happy? But it is how you say the blue that you don't raise your voice, that you upset the rest of the other colors. You say blue, so that white, red, pink, and yellow can feel the magnitude of their presence, bringing down the voice that says blue. That blue is minimal. I'm superior. Yet you recognize blue and not the other ones around.
But do you feel, though, the need that everybody needs to be pleased? Do you feel the need that you shouldn't be offended?
I want our people to think.
Yeah.
My biggest desire is to find a nation that thinks. We've gone through a stage where we got lazy. We don't want to think anymore. We have become a people that is more of dependent thinkers.
Right.
If we can generate and have a nation of independent thinkers, I'll bring relevance to what I'm saying. It would be great. Now, I'll put scenarios quickly so that we can understand what I'm talking about, because sometimes I tend to be so vague in my utterances. When kids and scholars and students started saying hashtag fees must fall, it got clear. After that, then we had our President Zuma, and then it was Zuma must fall. Then fees must fall, Zuma must fall, Steve must fall, Robert must fall. Now, at the back of the start of that wedding, fees must fall. The rest of the other dependent thinkers stopped thinking and started following that kind of the tone. Not only in terms of utterance, Rob, and wedding, even in our behavior. How things happened in sports. I'll give you the Mabhida case.
Yeah.
The conversation is open. What happened in Mabhida was not an issue that is football related. It was a microscopic reflection of the thinking of society. That I'm saying fees must fall, Zuma must fall, Steve must fall, forget, it is utterance. That kids were banning schools and all that, and then they wanted them to, the banning streets and all that, then they were banning the stadium. So I want our people to be deep in thinking and not only be followers. That when somebody does something, no matter how superb and how good it looks and is, you must look deep into that and think twice. Your first sight, when you see it for the first time, you must observe it and see it. But there has to be a deeper look into it when you analyze. When I'm watching football, I would watch a match of football. Oh, Leipzig is playing Tottenham. Oh, what a game they're playing. I'm watching that. There's a stage where I stop watching the game. Let me analyze these folks. Now, observation and analysis are different. At first sight, you can see, you can sense, you can observe. Upon registry in your mind, start to be highly analytic. Our people stop immediately at the first stage of sight. And then they think that, the thinking is taking place. No. There's even beyond that kind of thinking, even into the second brain of your thoughts. When you've gone deeper, when you accept suffering, when you're saying, bring on suffering, because it is only out of serious suffering that you get better. You will never grow if you don't suffer. The greatest growth happens in discomfort. Those who have not grown are the ones who've always been comfortable. And those who want to grow must accept pain. And those who are still growing are going through pain. So it is just a choice you make. But beyond that, Robert, it is the level of acceptance. You just have to accept circumstances and grow. And I'm doing an interview now, Emanchi. The guy behind the camera, the guy listening at home, even yourself, what I'm saying must not be selfish that it only talks to me. It must also resonate with you.
Yeah.
That in my utterances, you do not only understand, but you living what I'm saying. In my speech, you see yourself going through the struggle and then finding comfort to say, you know what, bring on the problems.
Yeah.
Because it is only out of problems that I'll become better. A stack of coal under pressure becomes diamond. But if you want to remain cold, avoid pressure. You want to be a precious diamond, bring on the heat.
Great. And the heat was brought to you. And I am glad you mentioned it, because I was going to go there. I was going to go to Moses Mabhida. The irony is that you find yourself back in the kingdom, back in the province, back in the city that resulted in that violence that happened at Moses Mabhida Stadium. We had not seen that in a very long time. We saw cameras being bashed and kicked. We saw security men and women being bashed and kicked. We saw, scenes of smoke and burning and everything else that was going on. At the center of all of this was a coach of a football team named Steve Komphela.
Yep.
The air was palpable with tension from the beginning.
Yeah.
There were imoto zamaphoyisa already waiting
Exactly.
at the main exits
Before the match.
before the game.
Yeah.
And they were in the anti-riot gear. Everything said subconsciously to people that yabona namhlanje
Yeah.
shunguthule zobon Satan. And we had to see Satan the wrong way. But you were at the center of it, and that night, later that evening, down the tunnel to your right-hand side, they had to call a press conference. Steve Komphela, goodbye. But the damage was done.
It was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and which was then what I said even in the press conference, that listen, if people have to go through what I just picked up, and it is because of me, no, not me. I wouldn't allow that. I would rather stop everything and allow the process to happen beyond me and outside me, because I can't then be selfish looking at the poor ladies who are just innocent going through that. And labantu laba kahle kahle bekumele ke baboshwe. Just arrest them.
Yeah.
So that they can understand what it is not right. If you are not happy about something, there's a way of violence, whether Mahatma Gandhi or even Nelson Mandela, they said it. Even Martin Luther King, he said it. You will never solve any problem through violence. It is only through non-violence that most of the stuff gets solved. Now, when people come to the stadium, maybe they were drunk, whatever it is, having agendas and all that, we don't get terrified. I'm going to put up a story, and it has never been said anywhere. Maybe somewhere in some of the work that I'm trying to do, this will come out. We singamajola ekhaya, singojola inkomo.
Right.
Singamampondomise. And in our upbringing, when a kid is born ekhaya, during the time when we were still like real amaxhosa la xhoxhoxho, kunenyoka kuthiwa ujola. It's a small snake, green. It's a sign of peace, it's a sign of approval. Idlozi.
Calm.
Yeah, khami vele ifike manihlala lapha ekhaya eyilalini vele kuhayi akumelekanga ndibulale lo nyoka. Abantu abadala bayayazi ukuba what is happening with that beautiful green snake going past. Mabhida, Robert, you won't believe this. After the whole chaos, a snake was discovered there that nobody knows where it came from. It was coming from the center circle right through towards our benches. And that snake got killed. And if I'm lying, Vina, I hope you have those pictures. a snake. I mean, this is one revelation, and I'm not attaching this to anything, but I'm saying in a 75,000, 80,000 seater, under that chaos and all that, on the park, in the field, where does a bloody snake come from?
Hey, man.
Now, then you come to, I'm going to come, Ganja.
Yeah.
I am this forever. My biggest mistake, my biggest weakness, I'm fearless. That's my worry. I'm afraid that I'm fearless. I don't know whether that makes sense.
No, it makes sense because you're scared of the eventuality. You're scared that in the day that you lose your mind, you lose your temper, somebody could be dead.
And I try my utmost best to be in control of what I'm thinking about.
But not because you want to, but because you don't know how great the power you have.
My patience goes beyond moving from Cape Town to Cairo.
Yeah.
If you have to exhaust my patience, if you live in Cape Town, you'll find me in Cairo. If you can make it to Cairo, just before we go abroad, see Spain, about Italy,
yes.
Maybe then Gintambo. That's when maybe you'll get the piece of me that I wouldn't want to show to anyone. But that piece beyond Cairo, the piece beyond Cairo is one that I know I've seen it once, and it does not have to show face because it is the worst ever thing that I would want to see myself. There's an interview of Mike Tyson that I saw recently, where he was in studio. He was even sweating on Mike, talking about this Mike Tyson that who he had been, and the Mike Tyson he is, and how he even thinking about the Mike Tyson who only knew nothing else but the art of war. He talks about all those guys he studied in terms of war, but now he's this human being that he is. Now Mike Tyson regrets the fact that what he had been is not actually what he would wish to have seen. Had he known what he knows now, he wouldn't have allowed to be that Mike Tyson was a monster. That was profound. And he told the guys in the studio that, listen, I'm not kidding, I'm serious about this.
Yeah.
Now I'm saying the same. Ogoti, anything that could happen beyond the stage of my patience and tolerance is something that I wouldn't want to see any other human being exposed to. I must try my utmost best to refrain and hide that. That is why whenever I'm seriously challenged, I choose to speak in parables. I started this long time Naku Platinum Stars. I remember we're supposed to have won Telkom Charity Cup. The beautiful Honorable Kubule Watu George Mufike made a penalty. We should have won that match and won the trophy. And then I said, God grant me I made the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. Akona lama snippets. Now, what you are saying reminds me of myself when you say, but you had always heard this. What gave you the confidence to bring it out? I did not bring it out. Maybe there's more provocation now that I've been in football for quite some time. And sometimes there are other people who would want to maybe open a door and you are the key. And when they use you and then you get irritated. Now when you pinch me, I cry, and when I cry in a language that nobody understands. Because when you cry in a language that everybody understands, then they start finding a way to make you cry forever. But when you cry in a language they don't understand, it becomes mysterious and they wait, they pause, they want to understand your crying. And by the time they understand you're crying, you are done crying. You wipe your ears, you sit back and relax. And when they ask, can you cry again? You say, I don't remember how I cried. Because now I found peace in my crying and I'm moving on. I'm happy now. I'm another human being. I'm ready to resume my precious life that God has given to me, not anybody else.
That is the wisdom that is there and the parable that he allows to come in. And people always say, but what are parables? What are parables? It's a simple process. We were taught this at school as young kids. Parables, an earthly story with the heavenly meaning. That's the basic of it.
May you repeat that? Okay, well, let me speak proper English here. I would say to you, may you repeat that. I'm going to put it in an English that is proper. Please repeat that once more again, food.
A parable
Yes.
is an earthly story
Yes.
with a heavenly meaning. It's an earthly story because it's being told here between you and I.
Yeah.
But it's got a heavenly meaning. And you won't know what it is until you get
That
to
talks
heaven.
to faith. That
Until you
talks
get
to
there.
faith.
Yeah.
When you do something here and the outcome is not clear, but you keep doing it because you know the outcome.
100%. So when you, and I'm trying to figure out, because everything has a breaking point, it has that off-ramp. Because you're not going to get to your destination if you're just on the highway.
No.
And your house is not linked to a highway. You have to off-ramp at some point.
Yeah.
What was that off-ramp point for you? From Steve, yes, people acknowledge you. Yes, you scored that goal.
Okay.
Yes, it was acknowledged and given awards. But the greatest of them in your early playing days was being given the League's Players Player of the Year award. The League's Players Player of the Year award. That is, again, capping your talent as a football player. Was that, first, how did that sit with you? Because I'm trying to trace this. We're going to get to the end product.
Yeah.
How did that sit with you in such an early stage of your professional career?
I attributed that to hard work.
Yeah.
At Free State Stars, that was Fairway Stars then. We had about Edward Salomani, Amin Lefatle, Moses Moloi, Roger Lupia, Ronald Mkandawiri, David Vilagazi, Saramele Tswaka, the late Professor Maputsi. Great players. Now, when that happened, I owed that to them because they assisted me perform to the level where I could be recognized by my peers. By my peers. Now, the recognition by fellow colleagues is far above a recognition that would come from, because they are the ones who are playing with you week in, week out. But ke ngifuna ukukhomba umdokisi la. Yamkhomba manje. Keep number manje.
When's then?
Uyangikwelita. Same year I won Players Player of the Year. He won Footballer of the Year. And the late Iwi Kambule, Abo NS Churadi were also winning it. And umdokisi wasizwa amasupporter wekhosi. Ngiyawakhomba amasupporter nangibulala khosi. Doggy was Footballer of the Year through the votes from Sunday Times. He was on fire.
Yeah.
He was on fire, so he got the Footballer of the Year, and then I got the Players Player of the Year. Now, coming back to your question, I attributed that to a lot of hard work and how I received that as well. And Robert, I'm going to say something that people will never believe that it happens. This happened at the back of unbelievable hard work. When I went to Tsia to go study, I did not have money to go to school.
Wow.
I did not know how much money. 750 registration. I don't know how I got that 750. I couldn't. I don't know. Then I got lucky, referred by Teis Wanyane from Klerksdorp City. And I must thank the Mukwena family. Mike Mukwena, the wives is Joyce, and the kids Borans. I was received. Every time college was closed, maybe it's period for to go home, vacation and all that, I would go live in Makwane by Bra Mike's house. Bra Mike's wife would would cook for us. Now, that I must appreciate. Now, as I was playing at Free State, with my fellow teammates, Abo Saram, Abo Magic introduced me to varsity. I completed my teacher's diploma. After teacher's diploma, when I was doing a degree, then I had to go to UNICO, the University of University of Limpopo, Kwakwa branch. You know what happened there? I had qualified as a teacher.
Right.
So it meant in the morning, I would have to go to school from 7:30 up to 1:30. And then as soon as we knock off 1:30, the bus is waiting for me by the gate to come pick me up to go to training. We start training 3 o'clock. I get my school books, whether it's my books or for the school, and my bag, because then we never had lentable kit manage and all that. The setup was not professional. So you had to carry your bag.
Sure.
I must carry then my sports bag, get into the bus. Into the bus from 3 o'clock up until 5 o'clock, I'm at training. I woke up, earlier, 7:30 I was at school, up to 1:30. Then 3 o'clock up to 5, I'm at training. 5:30 up to 9 o'clock, I must be at varsity, studying a degree. So I'm running 3 things at a time. Go to school, teach kids, do their work, mark, whatever, and then go to training, and then from there go to varsity 3. If I slept 4 hours, that would be luxury. 4 hours were luxury.
Yeah,
and weekends you have to. I remember I had a big skirmish with some lady, Besimbizu Tepenar. She was teaching us teaching science. She gave us the assignment, this wonderful lady. I don't know if she's still alive, and if she's not, may God bless her. She made me a better man by putting me through the hell and the struggle. Depenar decided to say, okay, you submit your assignment. I did my assignment in time, submitted because I knew I would have to, and there was a national team as well and all that. I needed to go play. We're going to play in Joburg on a Wednesday. And then she doesn't want to accept my assignment, complete as is, just making it difficult. And she wanted me in class, in person. I'm saying, now, those are some of the things we had to go through. And then I completed my studies, and then from there off-ramped, went to Turkey and all that. And I've received life as God was offering it. I had never said no to any offering. I had never said no to any burden. I had never said no to any blessing. The minute you say no, you are denying yourself the opportunity to grow.
But running all these parallels at the same time.
It's discipline. Bafana, after training, okay, you come here, you only have 2 hours. Players must understand they don't get paid for playing. They get paid for training. Because how many matches you play in a month? Let's say 4 matches.
Right.
If you are earning 100,000, you are not earning 100,000 from 4 matches. You are earning 100,000 from before this match, the 6 days of preparation. Before this match, so this is just a final dress rehearsal. You get paid to train. So if a player does not accept the fact that training is more important than the match, then the match is non-existent, because by the time you go to the match, your preparation was not. So you get paid for. So we were very disciplined getting and focused. Very little distraction, maybe assisted as well by life was not as quick then.
Right.
Manje, there's a lot happening. You are coaching a player, he's on Twitter. You are coaching a player, he's on Instagram. And as you go out, Robbie, as soon as you as a coach, they give your media person gives a list to TV, okay, this is the starting lineup ka Aros. Bakuthuka manje live la. Bakuthuke hey matoda. Now then, bebakuthuka Monday kusowethini. Maybe you played a bad match, Steve Komphela Shama on goal u20 you udliwe. A small ilona column nje ebhalwe mhlawumbe uSilemane, no bad game, the defender by Steve, consider the person would read that and go to the bathroom uzoyishiya lapha etoilet sekabuya iphelile manje awuna chance mawuyikhipha nje team sheet sebakuthuka live awuna choice. So this is the beauty of modern life. So the same challenge happens with the kids, so we have to stay current as well based on the challenges.
But those are many challenges, Steve, though, because of the multi-pronged nature of your journey. When you decide then to put aside the teaching,
Okay.
of which I don't think you've ever put it aside, I think teaching still is you. I think teaching is what you teach us.
Gave me the framework.
Teaching is what, when I get to Egypt and there's an Egyptian guy who says, I'm a lover of Steve Komphela. I even posted it.
I remember
but I think
that, yes.
at that
Yeah.
time, so
one
zip. But here's this guy
I'm a diplomatic, then busy.
who loves you. This guy loves you. He's like Steve Komphela, and he recites that very famous post-match. Was it pre-match interview I had with you?
I'm sure it was a post-match.
Was it not pre?
No, it was post. I'm sure it was a pre.
Yeah, because I'd been observing something that was happening in the warm-up.
Yeah.
And then I took that into the interview.
Okay. And you can be very provocative. Do you know that?
I'm never provocative. I just want to know what's happening. That is my duty.
A lion never knows that it is ruthless because it is in their nature and instinct to be ruthless.
Never, Steve, never. I have a duty. You know what people don't understand?
Thank you.
With the microphone, it's not for me. It represents, number one, on the microphone there, the name of the company that I work for, which means that the people who are then subscribed to watch or are putting up aerials to watch, those are the people I'm representing. So if I'm just going to get there and I'm going to hold the microphone, Then now we're about Pavaro to Kule anyway.
Can I relate a small story for you?
Please go ahead. This is about you. You know that.
There was a story of a baboon and a snake, they say. Now, this snake wanted to cross the road. They were on the same side of the road with the baboon.
Right.
The cars are going, whoosh, the baboon comes, the snake, and then the snake says, but why don't you put me on your back so that we can quickly run across? Because you have force, you have power with me, and the tar road is hot, man, we can't, so I will get bummed. The baboon says, you, must I trust you? Can I take you across? The snake says, no, man, no, let's go, nothing wrong. Finally, to bring the story fast forward and all that, the baboon takes the snake and then they go across. What? They manage to cross the road. No accident, no nothing. As soon as they reach the other side, the snake does what snake does better. Bites the baboon. The baboon says, my man, how can you? We had an agreement just 2 seconds before we crossed the road that you wouldn't do this to me. You know what the snake said? Even though my intentions were right, but it is just in my nature to bite.
So who's the snake? Who's the baboon?
No, I'm talking about the instinct of yours when I say you can be ruthless and provocative. You don't see it, but it is in your nature to be provocative.
Who is the snake and who is the baboon now? Please tell me, otherwise we're going to get beaten.
I'm not going to say who's the snake, who's biting who, but I will say I'm a baboon. I helped you across. I don't know what you did with me when I reached the others.
I had to be like a lunch boy and take a wee bite.
No, but on the one of the interview, I remember it was a very thorny issue, and it still remains. And I was trying to package it in a way that's going to leave everybody with no mud.
Yes.
There is no way you can be trampling in mud and then you leave everybody clean and yourself. Never.
No.
George Bernard Shaw once said that if you wrestle with a pig, you're making a big mistake. Because as you wrestle with the pig, you know what? The pig is having fun. The pig loves it. And when you think you're fighting the pig, no, you're getting dirty. That thing is enjoying the mud. So they say never ever wrestle with a pig. So that parable then came to me, and then I said, you know what, Robert, I'm going to respond to you in a manner that's going to leave everybody secured.
Right.
Like Jesus Christ in his times, each time he had to talk to people about whatever was happening, he would never be specific in his references. And the reason why he wouldn't be specific in his references, it was purely to protect and preserve and leave everyone with the dignity they so deserve. The question there was that at Chiefs we played a match, and in that match we're playing 3-4-3, which is something that I also dissected in one of my press conferences. I would know the effect and the influence it gave me. And I spoke about this those years, even before Russia 2018.
Yeah.
And I told South Africans that this is where the game is going. Go watch Leipzig now, 2020 Champions League. They are doing what the idiot Steve Komphela said then. But anyway, that's a topic for another day.
But that day.
No, let me finish this.
I want that story because
I'm talking about this story. I'm coming back. So off ramp. You allowed me to off ramp.
I did.
Okay,
I did.
Let me come back to
I
the
want
main
this
road.
parable to, because people are still
Nina,
fascinated by that interview.
I do have money for the toll gate. I'm not taking the alternate.
Sister Marian Hill.
I'm coming back to the toll gate, Marian Hill.
Yeah, I see bump.
Right. Now, and then we played 3-4-3.
Yeah.
Then there was a discussion that no, we play 7 defenders. I'm just going to rest that by saying I'm sure in that particular match we would have played, maybe Ungezani would have played, Faseu Kadoso would have played, let's say Ottawa.
Yeah.
And then the rest, wing back, it could be a tight Mulangwane, Pilani Zulu, and then Umido, Nokatsande, Nama Strike. Now, out of those 10 players, except the goalkeeper, we had only 3 defenders. The nature of our South African people who are dependent thinkers listened to the weight that said, no, we play 7 defenders. Now, Steve, because of the respect that, you know what, I'll take this one. Again, on my chin. They hammered me, I took it on the chin. I did not want to respond because if I responded and tried to clarify and rectify whatever, it would have been lost, and it would create more snowball. I decided ngibambe le, ngirepe kahle, ngifake le rep le yami le, so that I can deliver. Ngathi kubona ke angeke ngirespondela because manga responda izovela kabi. Kodwa ke we as leaders and coaches, we need to be very careful how we say things, because sometimes the way we say things, it either reflects, and it wasn't me talking. I can't repeat those words. I can't go verbatim because there was another light above my brain that was giving guidance. I can't repeat that, but I have the context. That we have to be careful that sometimes what we say, it either reflects our character and psyche, or maybe a bit of reflection of where we're coming from. Anything, how you sit, how I speak, is a reflection of my upbringing and where I come from. That was my basically what I wanted to say.
But the wrong person was working that day. Because
no, the right person, but it was very provocative.
But that's why I'm saying that the wrong person for you, because you thought, again, I used your analogy, you thought you had packaged that present in this wonderful present with the ribbon on top. But me knowing, because you do that, I wanted to get inside the present.
You worked with me for far too long. That's why you know my secrets.
That is why then one key word unlocked all of that. All I said to you in response was that somebody seems to have riled Steve Komphela. That was it. I asked you that because I could tell what you were telling me was not what I wanted, was not what the viewer wanted, was not you telling the truth. It was you taking the sugar, taking the banana and coating it, so that it comes out clean and fresh.
When you were now on level 3.
Yeah.
Not that you had information.
I did.
Oh, you had that, but it had developed into knowledge. Beyond that knowledge, you had moved to wisdom.
Observation too.
You had moved. You can have all the information in the world. But if you do not know how to utilize that information, it doesn't become knowledge. Knowledge is how you apply that particular information. The application of that information to knowledge, with the ability to take the right decisions, irrespective of the time, the pressure, and all that, takes you to a level of wisdom. So when you have gone that. But for you to graduate from the information, knowledge, and wisdom, it took you years of toil, hard work, and struggle. And the struggle was not only physical, but was mental, reading someone's mind. As you say, you picked up one word. Not too many could pick 5, but you managed to pick 1. And when people speak, I could be saying all this, but there's one word that is powerful beyond all the speech that I'm making, that will stick and stay.
And I'm glad we've unpacked that, because somebody had riled you that day, and it had affected you. And I had never seen you that way before again.
Ufana nalo wevets lo owangikwatisa ngakhuluma isiXhosa immediately after interview. But now Carol, how do you come to me so quickly when someone has just poked me, and then you put a mic underneath my nose? Carol, those are moments that I'm saying I go back and look and say, but Steve, you shouldn't have said this. But
it's the moment. And they should always be there. Football is multifaceted. It's the fans coming in. It's about mama, this pageli papa lapane dombolo nayonkindo. It's the security. It's the ball boy. It's the linesman, match commissioner, everything. So football's a package. And you guys as the coaches are a major part of it.
But why don't you give us maybe a 10-minute pause to reflect?
No.
Bro, you know how many matches when I was at Chiefs, we would play and play, ne? We're leading. Last minute from nowhere, nje. And then there's an equalizer, and he's good. And then last minute, ne? And then immediately thereafter, coach, your thoughts, please. Let's start. We're happy, we're playing good football. We're happy. Just before you get 3 points, draw.
Loss. Or from draw, loss.
Yeah. Man Komphela, man kanjani. They were happy. 93, yeah, 93 minutes, only 60 seconds. But it is a reality of our game. Now, there's a stage where we played 12 matches, 12 draws. 12 draws. In those 12 draws, we have 8 of them. We go nil-nil. Yes, we win the league. But sometimes when things are not meant to be, you can't force it. Then move into the zone that I enjoy the most. And very few people live in that zone, the zone of acceptance.
Talking about draws, I want to park it there. The artist formerly known as Steve, who was drawing to winning in a second. Yeah, Picasso with your many draws. Me, I want to find out very openly and straightforwardly, because you started a career as a coach. Whether it's Dynamos, whether it's Platinum Stars, whether it's Kaizer Chiefs, it's a number of teams, Maritzburg, you name it. The one missing element for somebody who goes to gym like you is the ability to lift and lift a trophy.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Which has been absent. Right. And it's the one thing, like you were saying, that you winning and then boom, goal, draw. You drawing and boom, goal, loss. Hey, abanye bazobethi but isikhulume ngenyoka eqaleni nani. Do you ever get a sense of what needs to be broached, what needs to be done? Is it part of the journey? Are you accepting of the fact that that end goal, that end product of the trophy is elusive?
I'm not obsessed with that.
Yeah.
To be brutally honest. I just saw one of the clips got Jurgen Klopp, and I'm sure a lot of people might have come across that in terms of failure in sport.
Yeah.
He also speaks about what happens when he was at Mainz in Germany before he went to Dortmund and then Liverpool. Listen, if Jurgen Klopp knew that his success was at Liverpool, he would have jumped all these teams and went to Liverpool. But if he had jumped all those and went to Liverpool, he wouldn't be this ready. So all the delay was preparing him for Liverpool, where he is now. When I looked at that and I said, goodness me, this guy talks my language. I spent most of my time working with national teams. Under 17, under 20, under 23, assisted Bafana, worked Nabo Stewart, Nabo Trot, the late Brastiles Pumo, Carlos Alberto Pereira, Carlos Queiroz, and all those are years consumed at national level. And you cannot just win trophies for national team. It's very difficult there. Even though we won Kosafa with the under 20, Sabo Robin Johani, Sabo Rato Chabango, and all that. Stop that. And each time I would move from international football, that is national football, into now league football. At Menin Rangers, we went to the final. Menin Rangers, we went to the final Absa Cup. We lost to Imroka Swallows.
Yeah.
And you know how we lost that match? We lost that match because Menin Rangers was fighting relegation and they never thought they would go beyond June in terms of players' contracts. About John Tlale and the rest of the other players could not then be part of the team that was playing in the final because the contracts had expired. So I'm zooming now into the why not of that. Push that one aside. Then we went to semi-finals and Funukwa count, even I go Free State Stars semi-finals and all that. Forget those. I don't know how many semi-finals we've played in. If finally MTN 8 when we were at Chiefs, you consider penalty. Nathan Paulson scores the goal, the only goal. And on the day, to be honest, we did not pitch by our standard. We didn't play our game. And then you're saying, what then do you do? Yeah, Gele, come to Moses Mabhida, Telkom Cup final against Mamelodi Sundowns. You missed 2 penalties. You have so many one-on-ones. You are in the final. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not pointing at whatever. No. So what then do you do? The rest of the other semis and all that, no problem. Leave those teams and then come to Golden Arrows. You are in the semi-final of a Nedbank Cup. You are leading ETS Galaxy. Tizwa goes one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Plays the ball, it hits the upright. He scores that goal, game, dead, done, finish, because it's 9 minutes. The ball hits the upright, comes across, it's a counter-attack. We make a foul on their left side. In fact, on our left side, it's a foul. Mistake number one. We missed a goal, it's a foul. They play the ball, we make a corner. Mistake number 3. The resulting corner comes back. As we try to clear the ball, we score an own goal. 4 mistakes in a row. Hit the upright, make a foul, concede a corner, score an own goal. Now, I'm moving into the specific part of how these things happen and how they come to be. Now, I can't be so paranoid about wanting to have this visible success. I call it visible success. There's visible success, there's invisible success. You will be frustrated by the noise for their lack of seeing your success because it is invisible. Anything invisible cannot be seen. Now, when people can't see the glass of water here, they'll be complaining about glass of water. But when you know that the room is set up in a way that it is moist, you are always hydrated in this, that they don't see water should not frustrate you, because when you know where the water comes from. Now, MTN8, go to MTN8, it's 8 teams. How funny life could be. And if you lack focus and understanding of dynamics of life, you give up and you think, no, it is failure. There's nothing like failure in football. If you are concerned and just looking at the process, there's a lot of success that you go through. Success in football could be invisible. Personally, I don't speak much about my comfort in life, the comfort of those who are attached to me, and the level of accomplishment personally, it be economic, in terms of lifestyle and all that. I don't think that goes for nothing. Even those who have billions and millions, now we corona shy, your money counts for nothing. So whoever has the biggest money, whatever dollars, whatever euros, whatever, money means nothing. Because at any given time, 2 minutes ago you are a multi-millionaire, 2 minutes later you are nothing, it's gone. So I look at life like that. So to me, the most important, if people cannot understand your success in terms of how you have seen things, there's a lot of people I've gone through in life with, and they remain unbelievably pleased and happy with how we came, whether it be players and administration. Now, let me go to the MTN8. MTN8, it's 8 teams. The first round, there's 4 teams played. So you played match number 1. After 4 teams, there's 2 teams played. You play 3 matches. You win MTN8. You put a trophy and medals there. After 3 matches, some of them are accidental. I have seen teams win trophy, a team not having scored even a goal by winning trophy. So how would you then be so bothered and be so paranoid about what is being said and all that? You don't point at the visible success that everybody else wants to see. At times you look back into yourself and start laughing at the utterances, because some of them, they don't even have a clue because of their dependent thinking. They say what they hear, they say what has been said, and they're not even sure. If you can tell someone that, wait a minute, this is 2020. Do you know that in 1920 there was an epidemic? Do you know that in 1820 there was an epidemic? Do you know that in 1620 there was an epidemic? Then they will start thinking and they'll go check in 1520 if there was an epidemic. Because people just don't want to think. And thinking is so cheap. And in the modern world where information is just galore, but people just don't want to think. And what you say to them, it goes. That's why abanye baphuza poison, forgetting that you don't drink poison and live. When you drink poison, you're the one dying.
Right? But don't you then see, if you're looking at that invisible notion of success within football, I always say football is like going to a theater, you're sitting as the audience, naye Sarafina ziyabuya laphana stage. And whatever comes out of that is a performance, clap your hands,
applaud,
and you move away. Because again, using Moses Mabhida incident as a microcosm of that, the lack of the visible success.
Yes.
And I know that the chairman of Kaizer Chiefs, Kaizer Mtaung, was fully supportive of you. If he was any other human being, he would have buckled under pressure. He would have had you fired a long time ago. But he supported you because he believed in you and he believed in what you could deliver at Kaizer Chiefs. Everything was there.
You know the plan we had, the amount of work we put in there. That's one thing that you're talking about when you're talking invisible success. There's a lot of stuff that we did, and I can't be here talking. I try my utmost best to refrain from speaking of environments where I had worked. But one thing I must say, he understands the process. He understands the game, and he knows exactly what he wants, and he's got a plan. But the biggest challenge you'd have in institutions like those, you have to deliver a trophy. And even though you are working on a plan to unfold, if you don't deliver a trophy, it's going it messes up everything. The one thing that he said, which actually broke my heart, Ubrake, I remember it was my second year, where he said, Steve, how I wish I were only 5 years younger. I'm sure then Becca, he was celebrating, I don't know what birthday it was. He wishes he was only 5 years young. You know what he was trying to say to me? He said he wanted to build that institution into something else. About Barcelona, about Manchester. Manchester has actually taken buys. About Barcelona, they have systems. Ubra K had always wanted to build a system for Chiefs. But sometimes building a system, a lot of people get compromised up until the system is standing. But the minute you've managed to go through the system and is standing, Baba, the train just rolls. Unfortunately, just as we're about, the only thing that we needed to do for Chiefs, win a trophy, because the systems that we were put in there. But I don't want to look back again and start pointing at that invisible success.
Sure.
Because when you start pointing at invisible success, there are sadists. Yazmakutomuntu is sadist. Someone who never wants to see anything good. They were just wired to be bad. So they are omega nani. And most of us we have like so anginasikhathi ke mina angifuna ukuba provoke abahlali lapha ekhoneni bafelelwa khona lapha ekhoneni. Uyazi umuntu ofe ekhoneni ebulawa into zakhe miye kafe lapho ungamvusi because mayefa lapha uzoba right kuzoba imanyo. Because manje mawumvuse lapha uzonenzela intuthu. Anything that rots and dies is good because it becomes manure. It makes the soil fertile. No, it's good that they die there so that we can make they are more useful dead than alive.
I've only got 2 minutes, and the one thing, there's so many things that I want to chat to you about. But Kulega, I'll keep coming to Durban to stoke the fires with you. In my observations of you, and my observations of you as a coach, my observations of you as a...
you're observing, not analyzing. When you go analytic, linking...
No, I didn't study to analyze.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be putting the people that were ransacking Moses Mabhida in jail. That was supposed to be my study. And so that's why I can't use those words. So, but my observations is that there's something bigger that you want Steve Komphela to also be known for and as outside of football. I get a sense with your growing interaction on social media that people are seeing a different Steve. That is why today I did not want to be football dominant in my conversation with you. I wanted to be Steve Komphela dominant.
Maybe they are unraveling the Steve who's supposed to be. Sometimes we are ourselves, but not real of who we're supposed to be. Now, I haven't, maybe I'm yet to find myself. They are helping me find myself. Above all, there's one wish that I want. I want a society that is positive, a people who are confident, and a people who are willing to live beyond the 300 years of depression that we had been exposed to. A people who are going to be conscious of the challenges that our challenges are not going to be solved over 50 years of Ghana's independence. Who we are today, we cannot become overnight success against 300 years of slavery and all these other processes that we had gone through. I want our people to be aware of that. The minute you know that we come 300 years back and to address the challenges of 300 years ago, won't take 50 years. I will do simple arithmetic in closure. In 300 years, you've got 70, 140, 210, and then 280, 280. Still have 20 years. These are 4 generations that we have to go through to go beyond the struggles that we've been put through in 300 years. I'm only 50. I'm only 50. I have not even completed the 70 to be the first generation. And as I want to address the 300 years of slavery and oppression and all that black people had been exposed to, their confidence had been killed. Mentally, they are finished. They've got no esteem. They don't know themselves. They lost their sense of being. If you want to address the 300 years, I need to die. My kids must die. My kids must die. So you need 4 generations. And the rest of the world is not waiting, is moving forward. Our struggle is long. I want our people to understand that and work towards that. It might not be for now, but keep working forward, because if you forget where we come from 300 years, shall never move an inch forward.
Whew. In the same way, I don't want you to move an inch backwards in terms of your viewing. That's been Steve Komphela. And it's going to keep happening on a regular basis, because my conversations with him are not going to be just about an hour. I think there's a bigger game at play. We've spoken about how people who've been in exile, how people who have fought the struggle against oppression and apartheid in South Africa have come forward. Whether they were good as struggle icons versus being good as leaders now are 2 different things. The brilliance then might not be the brilliance now. And Steve Komphela, who's going to give us a different side to life and allow us to think, is all that we need. Take care of yourselves in the coronavirus epidemic times that we're living in. Spread the word, keep it locked, and follow all the guidelines. We thank you so much, sir.
Aluta continua.
Oops. Unjalo. All right, thank you so much for being part of the MarawaTV family. Don't forget as well, do subscribe, hit on the little bell button so that you get your notifications. And also, yeah, thumbs up, like us. Tell us as well in the comment section who you would like to see coming on to the Thursday night live show, or who you'd like us to go and track down and have a conversation with, so that we give you all the latest information as and when it happens. It's life of a sports person.